So the Skype party. That was pretty awesome. It literally took up my whole day. I was on Skype for like 7 hours because even after the video conference broke up, Nella and Leo and Alicia and I kept talking for a while, and then after Leo and Nella left, Alicia and I kept talking for a while after that. My whole day pretty much was spent on Skype, but it was worth it. It was fun. I do really like the idea of making it reasonably regular. We'll have to figure out some way to do it that doesn't depend on us depending on Zoe to always be there, because that's just not fair. But I really like the idea of being able to like spend more time with you guys regularly and see your faces and talk to you in real time, because that's nice. Also, Nella suggested in the comments last week that with NaNoWriMo coming up and so many of us are participating, she suggested that we could do Skype writing parties too. Sort of like John and Maureen and the YA gang having their secret writing location. Only our secret writing location would be Skype. Anyway, I'm glad that we did it. It was a lot of fun. I hope we do it again soon. Also, the next upcoming birthday is Shara's at the beginning of November. I would not be opposed to having another birthday party on Skype. And speaking of the Skype party, we have a theme this week. For those of you who didn't make it, which I'm sad about, at some point during the Skype party we started talking about things that we had set on fire. Not really sure how we got on the subject, but we had a very interesting discussion about it. And at some point during the after party we decided that that should be our theme for this week. Stories about burning things. Now that I think about it, I have a lot of stories about things being set on fire, which is kind of distressing. The one that I mentioned in the Skype party, which is the one that I figured I might as well tell in its entirety, is I almost set my entire house on fire once with an exploding gas oven. My best friend Amanda and I were rooming together at the time. Here, in fact, there's a built-in gas oven. It's built into the wall like about here, which for me means it's like just below eye level. There was no pilot light. You had to light it manually every time. The way that the lighting mechanism worked was really weird. It didn't always light correctly, and if it didn't, this sort of bubble of gas would build up and then it would explode. Usually it was a really small amount of gas. It was just like a really small bubble of gas and it would puff and put itself out and you'd have to relight it. Even a small explosion is unsettling. Off-putting, one might say. So we were always really careful to make sure that it had lit correctly. So we went to bake something one day and we lit the oven, but it didn't quite light properly, but we thought that it had lit fine. And then we kind of looked in through the window on the stove and we could see that it hadn't really lit right. We'd stepped away from the stove, so we both leaned forward at the same time to reach for the stove to turn it off, and exactly at the same time that we both leaned, the gas bubble that had built up exploded, blew the door of the oven open. Luckily we were both standing far enough away and at an angle, so there was a giant fireball that came out. It missed us, but we both got singed, you know, the right sides of our hair and all the hair on our right arms, because that's how we were leaning. Luckily we didn't get injured. The stove never worked after that. We tried to light it like once, but we were okay with the fact that it didn't work after that because we didn't want it to work after that. Fireball, an actual literal fireball. That's probably my most dramatic fire story, although I've actually come quite a bit closer to being injured than I did that time. So that's my exploding oven story. Nothing runs on gas in here anymore. Having your oven explode is unsettling. Makes you a little bit distrustful of gas appliances after that. So I have some other stuff to talk about, but it won't fit in this video, so I'll try to make another video sometime this week. I look forward to hearing your fire stories. DFTBA.